Ladies and gentlemen, my name is BrendenPlayz and welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling. And we are continuing, of course, our TNA playthrough. And we are getting ready for Bound for Glory. It is going to be very, very interesting indeed what we have in store for Bound for Glory. We still need to kind of get there and still establish some of our rivalries. But a few little things have happened in the meantime. And it's not good stuff, to be honest with you. We have one big issue. It's something I'm sure a lot of you guys are not going to be thrilled about, but I did try to keep him. I did try to not let this happen, but it has happened and we now have to deal with it. Luckily, it happened now rather than later, so if it's going to happen, it's good that it happened now. And what I'm talking about, as we check out our news, Bryan Danielson. Our bid and our contract negotiations with Bryan Danielson have ended, and he has signed an exclusive deal with All Japan Pro Wrestling. So All Japan have got Daniel Bryan, picked him up, he's locked in, written deal. They are a cult size, they can get people to written deals, which is always the danger. And I guess for Bryan Danielson, I mean, his Japan popularity is slightly better than his USA popularity, which might have been able to leverage him a little bit there. And we haven't really used him that well, to be fair. We haven't had that many matches with him. I mean, he's had a lot of matches this year, but let's have a look. Actually, we go back. I kind of messed that one up, so we won't look here. So this is what we want. So take a look at New Japan. He went there for a little bit, and you can see he had 11 matches, only won one. Here in TNA, he's had 9 wins, 5 losses. So we've given him a decent booking. He's done pretty well, and a lot of the matches he's lost, I mean, he lost a Battle Royal, that's really no loss. AJ Styles beat him, that's not too bad. He lost... What else did he lose? He got beat by Fallen Angel, he got beat by Sabu, so he's mainly been beaten by guys well above him, beaten by Frankie Kazarian. So he's lost the last 3 matches in a row, but for the most part, we've used him pretty decently. He's had a lot of wins, and we've slowly built him towards that 53 popularity. When he started, he was at 50, so it's not a big progression for Bryan Danielson, unfortunately. Would have liked to maybe bumped him up to 65, 70 by now. That's obviously, that's pretty big and pretty hard to do. But I really wanted Bryan Danielson to be probably the vocal point of our X Division going forward, but unfortunately he's gone. We have to move on. We've got to move on and replace him with somebody else. And we do have some replacements. We do have plenty of guys we could look towards instead. Other news, Sarah Stock. She's now joined us. And, of course, she's going to be known as Sarita in TNA. So she's now officially part of the TNA roster. Mark Henry broke his toe. The Great Muta. So this is an interesting one. He's now left... what was it? All Japan. So he left All Japan. So they got rid of the Great Muta and they brought in, Bryan Danielson. So that's a bit of a, I don't know, is that a step down? Maybe it's planning for the future. But so he's a legend. We all know that. And look at some of his matches. He's highest rated 91, averaging 76. So maybe his average is a little bit down to what perhaps he could really do. But good stats still for his age, 43. Not too bad. Should still be able to perform quite well. The big thing is 90 popularity in Japan, it's huge. 65 in USA, so he'd actually be really handy to get on the roster. So let's try and get him. Oh wait, we can't. We're too small. So because he's such a big star in Japan, he won't be willing to talk to us here in the USA, which is a bit disappointing, I suppose. You would think that that wouldn't really factor in, but I guess it kind of makes sense that it does, and it's fair enough. So we can't get him. I don't know where he's going to go. New Japan maybe. But that'll be very interesting to see. Maybe WWE gets him. I doubt it. WWE haven't really tried to sign anyone, which is always interesting. They haven't kind of been a bit reserved. So it'll be interesting to see where we're going, where he goes from there. But that's a big loss for All Japan. So let's have a look at All Japan and their size and their progression. They've done really well for themselves. Look, they started the year off at 50 popularity. Now up to 65 and 70 in the Kanto region. So they are doing unbelievably well. If not, are they overtaken New Japan? I don't think they have. We'll have a look at New Japan. So they're still number 2. All Japan's still number 6. So they're not even the biggest, second biggest. Noah's still bigger than them. And we'll have a look at Noah in comparison. Noah's done even better. They started at 50, now up to 71. and 75 in Kanto. So forget about All Japan. Noah is doing way better. Wow, Japan is on fire. Holy. They've got Kanekabashi, so they've got a few big names there. And I guess we may as well look at New Japan while we're at it. They're number 2 in Japan, in the world, number 1 in Japan. They've actually dropped a little bit. They started at 77, so they've dropped a little bit, and now it's 75, flat even. So very possible that we could see New Japan lose their grip as the number 1 wrestling company in Japan, and perhaps we could see All Japan take over or whatever. But if New Japan did pick up the Great Muta and Kijimoto, that would really change the game for them, potentially keep them at number 1. So it's kind of interesting, very interesting to see where they're at right there. You can see AAA is still very well ahead on the on the Mexican market rather, and they're at a national size, so they're actually really doing well. 80 popularity. They've dropped a little bit, but not too much. They've kept pretty well, so they're still killing it in Mexico. WWE is still at international size, whereas TNA, as you see, we're getting closer to that national size, but it may take, I might say, another 6 to 12 months before we get there. And if we do get there, we obviously run the risk of even dropping down pretty quickly unless we really keep the momentum going, which we do have a lot of momentum. We have been performing pretty well. We've had some good shows and everything's going pretty well. A little piece of news, Taylor Wilde, she was known as Chantel Taylor, so we brought her in last episode. We changed the name to Taylor Wilde, which is her gimmick name in TNA when she came in. I don't know, was it 2009, 2010, something like that she came in, and I think she might have been the champion at one point, I'm not sure, but we've got her in a little bit early. She's a 5-year pro, age 22, and looking at her stats, nothing too special, too amazing, and her sex appeal 71, star quality 56, so that's kind of down as well in comparison to some of the other women. So it's very possible we might actually just send her down to developmental. In comparison to Sarita, you can see Sarita, she's in the 70 mark for a lot of these stats and a lot of these skills, which is a big reason why we want to keep her on the main roster. But at the moment, we have a lot of women on the roster that aren't really getting far. So I think we're kind of at our limit now. We've brought up Awesome Kong, we've got Sarita, so we brought up an extra heel, we brought up an extra babyface. So I think we're now at probably our limit right now for our women, and we have to just kind of knuckle down and start really pushing the women that we have and get them in a good position. So that'll be the plan going forward. So a lot of you guys will either put Jazz down as a developmental trainer for the women, and that's obviously a big option that I may do. She hasn't been that great. Her performances are still down, so it's very possible that we may go ahead and do that. But she still has 40 popularity, and a lot of our women are in that low 30s. Now, obviously, Sarita 20. So we'll have Jazz sacrifice some of her popularity before we do have her go down. So she'll be on the main roster for a while just yet before we do send her back down. But yeah, so we may as well get ourselves ready for our next Explosion and Impact show. I don't think there's really much else to kind of show you guys at this point in time. We are currently getting ready to finish up this month. We're in week 4, and it's always exciting when we do start a new month. So at the end of this episode, we might start a new month, which will be good. But we have our storylines set, plenty of them, some of them just really getting started. So we got a lot of work this episode to try and progress them all. Last episode, we kind of had a big 10-man tag to get that done with a 78 Explosion and a 85 rated episode of Impact. So yeah, very interesting there indeed. So we'll have to take a look. We'll see how we go, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how we're gonna get to Bound for Glory, because I think Bound for Glory is going to be great. I don't know if Bound for Glory can really be the best show I've ever done. It's a lot of pressure. We had some good ones, but we're going to try and get there. So we have to keep progressing these storylines to get to that point. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking for multiple episodes of Impact and Explosion per TW episode, and that's something we'll definitely be trying to do a little bit more in the future. But I guess for right now, at the big stage of the game, we're at Bound for Glory season, so we want to just try and focus maybe solely on one episode each. But until we get there, we may try and just keep on working on a different region. Maybe where's someone we haven't been for a while. The Northwest, it's been since June. April, obviously Puerto Rico. So Tri-State. Tri-State in July. We're going to go with Tri-State. You see, Tri-State has 100 importance, which means wrestling's pretty important in that region. Wrestling does very well in that region. So it's very important that you pick and choose the regions that are doing very well for themselves, rather than the weaker regions. You know, look at Puerto Rico, 79. Don't focus on that so much. Focus on the regions that are doing better, because you will get your popularity and your importance. That'll come quicker in those regions. So we're going to stick with the Tri-State region, which is, I think, the New Jersey region or something like New York. So we'll go there. We might give a few of our developmental girls an opportunity to show us what they can do. You know, obviously we brought in Cherry Bomb, which is now Ali, so we might give her a match. We'll see where she's at, her progression, and we might even maybe try Kevin Thorne out, because I want to see how him and Abyss go as a tag team. So we might have them just have a match on Explosion and kind of see how that goes. So we'll book all that and we'll show the results in a moment. Okay, so we open things up with Shannon Moore, and we brought in a local guy called John Cutler, and we wanted just to, you know, see where Shannon Moore's going, see where he is. And he had a 65 rated performance. John Cutler had a 4. Holy crap, did he suck. Wow. So the vocal crowd were all over the cases of John Cutler, who they hate. So they thought he was the shits. So there you go. And yeah, it was just another way to kind of get Shannon Moore featured as we slowly build towards his face turn. And he had a 65 rated performance. Not too bad from Shannon Moore, not terrible. We open things up with Team 3D talking some trash back and forth to America's Most Wanted, giving that storyline another strong segment. 90 rated. We then had Bryan Danielson versus Michael Shane, and yeah, we had Michael Shane beat Bryan Danielson. He's got to do the honors on the way out, and they actually had great chemistry to show their performances. Didn't really show much in Michael Shane, 64, even though it was a great chemistry. God, I shudder to think what he would have got without the great chemistry, but yeah. So there you go. We lose Daniel Bryan, but we keep Michael Shane. Thank God for that. Tracy Brooks, 64 rated promo, as she developed a new catchphrase that'll help her ability to talk some trash in the mic to Natalia, although Tracy Brooks was pretty much all but gone. So Ali, we found out that her contract hasn't started yet, so we couldn't use her in on today's show. So we tried out ODB instead, who had a 58 rated performance against Jazz. We gave ODB the victory because ODB actually has about 53 popularity, pretty good. So we gave her the quick little victory over Jazz. Unfortunately, Jazz is the one we just sacrifice all the time. Yeah, but we gave her the win. And look, 58 performance from ODB is not too bad. So she's probably not that far away from heading up to the main roster. Although, as we said earlier, kind of a little bit full right now. But, you know, obviously more popularity the better. So she's not a bad option down the line. We had Ron Killings challenge Alex Skipper to a match, and Skipper accepted. So we'll see a match from them later on. So that is kind of another way just to continue that little rivalry. And then as well as that, we had our main event. So we had Kevin Thorne and Abyss team up to take on Marufuji and Kenta, 80 rated matchup. Kevin Thorne, the weak link, he had a performance of 59. So let's take a look. Abyss had a 93 performance, and he seemed off his game. I'd hate to see him on his game. Wow. But there you go. So there's no bad chemistry, there's no good chemistry between Thorne and Abyss, which is obviously something we thought about doing. Maybe Kevin Thorne and Abyss teaming up and creating a new stable with James Mitchell as the leader there. So as well as that, we had Bobby Roode interfere and cost Marufuji and Kenta the matchup. Afterwards, we had Matt Morgan and Bobby Roode trying to beat down Marufuji and Kenta. Tanahashi came out for the big save, helping out and saving the day. So we advanced the Team Canada versus Dutch Dynasty storyline, and we also advanced the Global Championship storyline between Matt Morgan and Tanahashi there. So kind of getting a couple in there at the same time. But yeah, so that is our Explosion show, 79 rated. And hey, our Explosions are going pretty well. We are kind of positioning a few good matches here and there to kind of really bump them up. But worked out pretty well for us, and let's hope that we can have another good show here with our Impact. Okay, so we open things up with Raven versus Test, one-on-one. We just wanted to do this just to give both guys a match. They haven't really been featured too much. Raven, well, he had 61 rated performance. Was he off the drugs this week? Yeah, it seems as though he was. That's a rare I mean, we haven't used him for, what, 2 months or something, so finally he decides to get clean for once. We had to throw some more women on the pre-show as well with Alyssa Flash and Sarah Del Rey. We gave Alyssa Flash the victory, giving, I guess, Alyssa a bit of a small push. You know, so she did pretty good, 61 rated performance. We're about the show with a Jim Cornette talk show. You know, I'm just starting to think, well, maybe what can we call a Jim Cornette talk show? Cornette's Corner, Talking Cornette. I don't know. Maybe think of an idea. But the reason why I went with Jim Cornette is because he didn't really have another heel on the roster that wasn't a wrestler that we could probably do this with. I thought maybe doing Muhammad Hassan hosting it, but I thought, no, I don't want my number one contender doing that. So we just kind of threw Jim Cornette in there. He's a great talker, and also he's a color commentator for us, so that kind of works as well. So a bit of an announcer. And we did it with Jeff Hardy and Scott Steiner, continuing their feud. And I think we're going to stick with it. We're going to go with it, see how it goes. And yeah, so Jeff Hardy and Scott Steiner, they kind of used Jim Cornette as Jim Cornette kind of set Jeff Hardy up, and Scott Steiner came out and beat the crap out of Jeff Hardy. So 91 rated, good start to that show, and a good way to continue that feud. Matt Morgan and Daniel Bryan had a match one-on-one. We gave Matt Morgan the victory, of course, 68 rated match. Matt Morgan, I tell you what, 75 rated performance. He's kept keeping up with Bryan Danielson. Excellent. Really, really good. I think Matt Morgan is definitely someone we want to do something with and push it and keep him strong and build him as a monster. You know, we wanted, I guess, Tyson Tomko to be that bodyguard role, but maybe Matt Morgan's not a bad replacement. Maybe a better one. So, I don't know. This may be Daniel Bryan's last match here in TNA, so unfortunately he goes out as a loser, but that's just the way it is. Biz cut a promo on Sting, hyping up his feud. So we won't have them come to blows too much, maybe once or twice before Bound for Glory. But I don't know how good that match is going to be. We talked about it last episode, but hopefully, fingers crossed, okay. Gail Kim and Natalya went one-on-one. Natalya actually did better than Gail Kim, trying to say. So Gail Kim 66, Natalya 69. We had Melina on commentary. Tracy Brooks distracted Natalya. We also had Awesome Kong come in and help out Gail Kim. It was a bit of a crazy match. We just wanted to throw everyone in there. 75 rated match. So a good match between the two. They certainly have picked up compared to their matches earlier on in the year. But yeah, so we kind of continued a couple of rivalries there. Now women. Afterwards, we had Gail Kim and Awesome Kong attack Natalya and Melina. So Melina was on commentary, came out to, I guess, kind of console Natalya after the loss. And, well, we call him Kim Kong. I don't know. Is that a decent name? That was the first name that popped in my mind for Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. Kim Kong. So if you guys can think of a better name than that, I kind of like it. I'm not very creative with the names, so the first name that came to my head was that. Billy Gunn and James Storm went one-on-one. We had Brother Ray on commentary, just kind of keeping a watchful eye on his Bound for Glory opponent, James Storm. James Storm got the victory, of course. Kazarian and Fallen Angel hyped up their matches against the Motor Machine Guns. We then had a music video promoting Goldberg. And Samoa Joe, he had a promo hyping up his match against AJ Styles at Bound for Glory. Then we had Joe and Kazarian one-on-one. So Samoa Joe, 87 rated, Kazarian 75 for an 87 overall. And considering there was no storyline involved there, that's a pretty damn good match. Pretty damn good match indeed. Afterwards, Samoa Joe continued the beatdown to Kazarian, but AJ Styles came out to stop him and attacked Samoa Joe, helping out Kazarian a little bit there. Maybe we do a tag match. Maybe we kind of do a 6-man match next week. That might not be a bad idea. Hopefully I can remember to do that. And that would actually be pretty good. 6-man, AJ and Angel and Kazarian versus Samoa Joe in the Motor City Machine Guns. That will also get us a few rivalries going as well, so might not be a bad idea. Our main event, not a great one. So we went with Muhammad Hassan and Scott Steiner versus Jeff Hardy and Christian Cage. Now you think on paper this match is going to be absolutely amazing. Not so much at all. 82 rated. Alright, so that's a little disappointing. The performances were certainly there. Muhammad Hassan and Christian were excellent. Jeff Hardy was good. Scott Steiner did pretty good, but just didn't have a great match. 82 rated. So that'll bring the show down to an 85 overall. So there you go. So I don't know what happened in that matchup, but not the one that we were looking for. But overall, not a bad show. Could have been a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. But so we wanted, I guess in that match we did have Muhammad Hassan keep strong. So Christian and Jeff Hardy beat Hassan and Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner took the pin, and we kept Muhammad Hassan strong. Maybe because we did that, it brought the match quality down. Because generally when you do that, it does bring the quality down. But we didn't want Muhammad Hassan to lose any popularity since Jeff Hardy's got such a low popularity in comparison. It could mean that Jeff Hardy may get a bit of a bump up as well. Last couple of things, Xavier, he's gone from our developmental, so we've let him go. Not a bad worker, Xavier, but just don't have a spot for him right now. I'll let him go work elsewhere. Kevin Thornton's not happy with the push. Well, Kevin, I don't think you're going to be on our roster anymore, so you won't need to worry about your push. He gets one big win with Abyss, and he thinks he's the man now. And CM Punk and Maria Kanellis have announced that they are now engaged and they plan to marry. Wow. Wow. Doesn't that bring things into perspective? There you go. So that's happening. Other than that, we had a 3.68 rating. Raven's not happy with his booking. Well, Raven, you get off the drugs, you'll get better booking. Simple as that. Sabu's contract is ending. Did we offer him a new one? No, we didn't. So definitely want to keep Sabu. He's 41. I want to keep him a little while longer. Offer him. Oh, actually, we already have offered him a contract, so never mind. But I wanted to offer him a 1-year deal just to keep him on our roster, utilizing that a little bit more. He's in a program right now with Homicide, which we did miss out. We didn't do anything for that. I think we probably covered every rivalry but that one this week. So that was the one I forgot. But we've got so many right now. But other than that, it's pretty much all the news. I saw something there with Rob Van Dam. RVD won the WWE Heavyweight Championship when he beat John Cena. So Van Dam is now the new champion. He won it on SmackDown. He beat Cena and Ric Flair in a triple threat 98 rated match. For the first time, we have now seen a change in world champions in the WWE. So it's always been Batista and John Cena. Now Van Dam is the new world heavyweight champion in the WWE. So he's the WWE heavyweight. What's that make Batista then? Batista is the world heavyweight. Okay, so the WWE heavyweight and the world heavyweight. So there you go. But Batista is still the world heavyweight, and now Van Dam's the WWE champion. There you go. It is 2006, so probably I think he did win it in 2006. So they kind of are replicating history a little bit, and he did beat John Cena for it. So there you go. There you go. It didn't beat Ric Flair as well, but yeah. What about Ric Flair? What's his popularity like? Pretty good. Still pretty good for Rick. So there you go. But that's pretty big news. We haven't seen a title change of that magnitude yet, and we finally do see that. We want to advance a few days along. We want to get to the end of the month. We'll see if there's any major changes and any maybe new workers coming in or something like that, just to kind of one last little look as well, because since we are at the end of the month. But we did a pretty good job. We advanced a few of rivalries. But it's difficult because we're in that time where we want to keep guys separated from each other. Obviously, we didn't really want to do Hassan and Christian getting in the ring with each other just yet. But, you know, we kind of forced to a little bit. That's why we kept Hassan strong. In, I guess, booking-wise, we kept Christian and Hassan away from each other a little bit. Muhammad Hassan not too much involved there. More so Scott Steiner. But we wanted to get Christian and Hassan on the show. We didn't want to have them miss out because it's such a big match, so that's why we had to kind of stick them in that tag team match. Normally I would have just had them away from each other, maybe did a segment. Any other little things? So you can see, yeah, Bryan Danielson, look how many companies he left. So many. He's gone from so many, but he's now in All Japan. Steve Corino, he also did the same. He signed a written deal with All Japan as well. Eddie Edwards, Ring of Honor made him a contract offer. So he's 19, still very young, good popularity, it's growing. But Ring of Honor getting him, I think that's a good get. And we'll let them have him. Sabu, he'll stay with us. He's going to sign his contract, which is pretty good news. I'm happy about that. We want to keep old Sabu. So we'll advance until this many days. Hopefully there's no new contracts that we could have stolen in between. But yeah, so Sabu's now staying with us. And look, for a veteran, he hasn't been that bad. I mean, we look at Raven, we kind of compare him to Sabu. Raven's been so disappointing just with the drug-related issues. We can't sign him into a written deal. That makes it worse. But, yeah, so Sabu, still can do okay. Still can put on a decent hardcore match at least, and that's what we're looking for with him and Homicide going forward. But a Bound for Glory series, Bound for Glory card is looking pretty good. Obviously with Hassan winning the Bound for Glory series, that's going pretty well, and a few big matches there. At this point, I don't think I'll have Goldberg in a match. I might have him have a big debut segment and maybe beat someone up. A lot of you guys were suggesting Kevin Nash. I think that might be a pretty good call. Put in Kevin Nash and have Kevin Nash with a surprise special appearance. Goldberg comes out, beats the crap out of him. And, you know, obviously a lot of history there between the two as well. That would make even, you know, more sense. And an easy way to kind of debut him in without him having to have a match as well, because if he's going to have a match, we would have liked to have built a match up, and we can start to do that afterwards and have him have a big segment there, hopefully with a good one with Kevin Nash. And Kevin Nash's popularity should be able to drive him towards a strong segment. Alright, so the loading screens are finally done. That took forever, apologies. But let's have a look. Nick Nemeth, his contract. Is this the real Dolph Ziggler? I think so. The real Dolph Ziggler. His contract is expiring. He's a mid-carder at the moment. What was his popularity at the beginning? 62. So he's a mid-card at the moment. He's got 61 rated, 61 popularity, and his contract is up. And the WWE are going to give him another deal, but we could steal Dolph Ziggler. Steal Dolph Ziggler from the WWE and bring him to TNA. I'll leave it to you guys in the comments below. Do we give him an offer? We'll see. The big news, Paul Heyman has now officially joined us. We have Heyman on our roster, and we've obviously stuck him there with Lashley so we can start to do something there. Low-key finished his All Japan tour. He's unemployed, but he still doesn't want to come back to TNA, unfortunately. All Japan's made a contract offer to Chris Jericho. Oh no. Please don't let it be written. Please, we can't see if it is or not. Please, we don't want to lose him. They've also made a contract offer to Carlito. No, it's only a touring deal, so hopefully it's just a touring deal with Jericho as well. Sarah Stock and Matt Sydal have begun dating. That didn't take long, so they've started. And a couple of one-night only deals from our developmental guys for our champions. We'll take a look there. Gal Kim beat Ali to retain the championship. So Ali already getting a title shot. 52 rated match, so gives you a bit of an idea where she's at right now. Not too great. And Heavy Duty defeated Reigns and Okada for the tag titles. Who's Heavy Duty? It's Hernandez and Kenny Omega. Okay, so Hernandez and Kenny Omega are your new tag champs down in GFW. All right, we'll accept it. The Diamond Express. Who's that? Cody Rhodes and Dean Ambrose. All right. Wait, actually, Cody Rhodes and Kofi Kingston, I think. Yeah, so Cody Rhodes and Kofi Kingston beat Rollins and Ambrose the Shield. So there you go. Cody Rhodes and Kofi Kingston, not a bad tag team, to be fair. With a new, currently unnamed tour just a month away, negotiations are understood to be underway to put together a strong lineup of new wrestlers to come to the show. So, GFW, are they now on a break? Of touring break? Do they tour in October? No, they don't. So, our developmental is on a break. So, a 1 month break from their tour. So, we may need to start using some of our developmental guys just a little bit more this month, just to kind of keep their progression going whilst they're on a break. A couple of promotions are not looking pretty good, and that does remind me that PWG, pretty good promotion. They are in financial strife as well, and I actually don't want to see PWG gone from the game. I think they're such a crucial independent promotion. It would be a real shame to see them go. So what I want to do is something I do often do sometimes, and I know it's probably not the best thing, but we are going to buy PWG. Now, I could add them as a developmental. Normally I buy them out, I save them, and then I'll just kind of disassociate myself from them again. Let me know, should we kind of pay off their debts and have them as a developmental? We are going to do it. We're going to pay off their debts. Should we have them as a developmental or just kind of stay separate but keep them in the game? So we'll pay off their debts. We've now got that alliance with them, that relationship, And we definitely could add them as developmental because they've got some names, you know, got some decent names. Even some of our own talent are working there. Not the worst idea. But we want to keep PWG alive. You know, have a quick look at their progression and see their size. They haven't really grown. In fact, they've gone down. So for the most part, a few regions they've gone slightly up. But there you go. But we'll kind of leave it at that. Any new workers? That's always something we've got to check out. Story type, new workers. There is a few. So we've got Layla L. We all know Layla. If you don't, well, you're living under a rock. Layla now entering wrestling. Now, Layla, her sex appeal 78 should be higher than that. She was smoking hot. And it turned out to be a pretty decent wrestler in the end. It may not be a bad idea to bring her in. She's 28, starting pretty late. So status is semi-active, so that's a bit odd. But we'll keep an eye on her. Maybe we bring her in, maybe we don't. A bit similar to Kelly. And Flip Kendrick, don't know who that is. So just Layla L. So we'll have to see, you know, should we take the plunge? Should we give her an opportunity? We'll see. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for with this edition of TW. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like on it, subscribe to see more episodes coming away very soon as we get ready for Bound for Glory. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.